What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Twisted Metal Season 2, Episode 5, directed by Sgriccia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's taken, 15 episodes to finally get to some kind of tournament. It's been a while. It's been crazy. I've been excited. And for the most part, it is delivering on the car combat in TV form. I mean, it was always going to be a little bit of a letdown to get to this moment where they fight, because you can't really have, without like spending $1 billion, a true car combat type of thing scenario with Twisted Metal, because of how it portrays itself and stuff like that. But in a Captain America Civil War style, they do the best with what they can, and I do appreciate them at least trying to make the car combat interesting. But really, it is just a bunch of cars traveling down a tarmac, shooting at one another, as Calypso has officially let them basically compete in a qualifying round before they get to the actual tournament. And most of this is just set up. We're seeing characters that, of course, die throughout this episode, like the guy with the eye patch, and some other characters who really don't matter to the series. I mean, you have to kill off some people. It would have been very weird if all these characters survived through most of this. I mean, the point of the qualifying round is to kind of eke out the field and make it slimmer and stuff like that. So we basically are introduced to a bunch of these characters. They come into this hangar bay area, and we see characters you know and love. I mean, from the series, Junkyard Dog, and once again Axel and Mr. Grimm are back, and the Sweet Tooth, John Doe, Quiet, and all that stuff. And I mean, it really is just the introduction to the tournament, and it's only 26 minutes long, which is, I mean, that's kind of how it rolls. And it's one of those episodes where it ends with a cliffhanger, which I'm not entirely in love with a lot of times. I usually don't care if it happens at the end. But then in the middle of the week, I get why they're doing it. They want to keep you on your toes, excited for the next week's batch of episodes. And doing it to like Dragula from Rob Zombie is a fun track to have in this, because it's very dark and very gruesome. And, it's a very cool song. Rob Zombie is very good at that very kind of chaotic, heavy tones to his songs and stuff like that. But we have the introduction finally of the flesh and blood non-on-TV version of Calypso played by Anthony Carrigan. I love the door humor, the fact that it takes forever for the doors to open. That's very much something that they did in Superman this year with Mr. Terrific's where he's hiding his vehicle. And I love the thing about this series is it breaks the fourth wall, and the simple fact that it's commentating like on what we are exactly saying, like it's taking forever for him to be introduced. But once Anthony Carrigan's Calypso is introduced, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's, he says something, then that one driver just says, excuse me, and, he starts to out, are you going to explain the rules? And Calypso's like, will you let me get there, for the love of God? It's pretty funny. Anthony Carrigan's very good at that kind of very cringy humor, and I really appreciate him in this episode. But he's not in it very much. He's one of those characters that just feels like it's a very weird, very campy character, but it's going to be a fun character to watch throughout the series. But Raven comes back, the Patty Guggenheim character. She has entered the tournament. Everybody else is entered the tournament. Of course, Mayhem causes a lot of what she is good at, which is mayhem. And she pits the other drivers against one another in a way of basically getting information about each driver, which is entertaining, and how they portray the characters and stuff like that. The Vermin as characters, just like, have you ever, you could never survive the Florida swamplands with all the bugs, and there's an insinuation that she's had sex with bugs, with fire ants, which is pretty funny. And she basically once again pits the drivers against one another to get information from them. And Grimm and Sweet Tooth basically find each other once again, and we find the real name of Sweet Tooth, which is pretty funny because Sweet Tooth doesn't want to be known as that name, which is very funny. And Stu is reunited with Mike, who apparently I forgot was killed or almost killed. He now has like his new white partner. It's like I said, it's a lot of just setup for what is going to be the tournament. It's a lot of, it's not the greatest of episodes. There is like a lot of humor about the sexual relationship that Quiet and John Doe have. She comments on his butt when he's shooting at people, and they have to deliver a package. Something that, of course, John Doe is very well doing, a milkman delivering stuff. And in order to qualify, they have to get to a certain point with a package that is tracked. But in essence, like the Jumanji movies, the ones with The Rock and stuff like that, every time the package gets hit, it gets one level off, and if it hits from green to red, the drivers are killed automatically with missiles. And it's a way to thin out the crowds and make this show less expensive, as I'm sure it already is. And I'm not saying the show isn't expensive. It truly is expensive because, all the cars have to be customizable. They do have to use visual effects, especially on Axel. I love the stuff between Dollface and Axel, and Dollface is like, ooh, look at this guy. He's buff, but he has these gigantic metal arms. And she like hits on Axel, and then Axel takes a swig of fuel, which is pretty funny. She's like, oh, you're still doing that. And Axel gets like very attractive to Dollface, and it's pretty funny stuff. But once again, I love the simple fact that this episode is just once again setting up all the mechanics of what Twisted Metal really is, which is car combat, more than it is about the characters. Yes, you learn about who the characters are, and there's a lot of references to characters in the game that are in this group of individuals that are competing. But because it's TV and because the budget has to be a certain amount, you're not going to see a lot of these characters survive. So that's just kind of how it rolls. But once again, Quiet tries to keep Mayhem out of the competition by sabotaging the engine with the starter. And then because one of the drivers is killed, like as soon as the competition begins, Mayhem takes that car of the dead guy, drives it, and is attacked by Chucky Floop, I guess, from Twisted Metal head on, is fighting against Mayhem, and she shoots off or she tries to shoot him with the flare gun that she has, because there's a really funny scene in the beginning with her and the flare gun, and it goes off, and John Doe decides he's going to go after Mayhem and tries to save her from being killed by Floop. And that's where the episode ends. It ends with rockets destroying cars, and ends with the destruction of Mayhem. It is Twisted Metal. So, but there's not much else to talk about with this episode. It has really cool car combat. It has, Mayhem. I love as soon as the tournament starts and the world becomes orange, and it's really interesting, the kind of cool aesthetic. And of course, Rob Zombie, like I said, with Dracula. Apparently Rob Zombie was in Twisted Metal, which I didn't realize until I looked up Wikipedia and stuff like that on the wiki. And it's a decent episode. It really is. It's a fun start, and what we want in Twisted Metal. It's crazy it's taken 15 episodes or whatever it's taken, but at least we have some kind of car combat. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see how many times we get this cool car combat, but for now, good way to, I guess, the end of the episode. Once again, don't really like cliffhangers, but this is better than something like Murderbot with its cliffhangers. At least you're getting full 25-30 minute episodes that really feel like it's justified. So there you go. Anyways, so with my final score, I'll give it like an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 again. These two episodes were 8 out of 10s. They were good. The storyline's not that great. The action is what keeps it from being really bad. But I think 8 out of 10 is perfect for this episode. So, but that is my take of Twisted Metal Season 2, Episode 5. And so there you go. Anyways, thank you so much. In the comments below, what did you think of this episode overall? Did you like it? Did you like the car combat? What are you looking forward to? Did you see a character in the episode that is one of your favorites to drive in Twisted Metal? Let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you so much. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and we'll see you next week for the next batch of episodes of Twisted Metal Season 2. Peace out, guys.